They used to call it the Shark Tank. It was Jerry Tarkanian's home. But tonight, he's the visitor trying to beat the program he built. It's semifinal action in the Western Athletic Conference. 2 WAC teams without a date, still looking to dance. Here we go into the semifinals of the Thomas & Mack Center. New Mexico squeaks by Tulsa yesterday. Tonight they play a great second half, knocking off TCU. It's Fresno and UNLV in semifinal number 2, and nobody really thought the running Rebels would make it this far. I'm Bob Carpenter, and of course the underlying theme for this one, again, Jerry Tarkanian returns to Las Vegas. Just over a year ago, we witnessed his first return. He called that game my penance for too many years in coaching. It's been a strange year. It's a different kind of night. Jimmy Dykes with Tark.
Coach, maybe one of the most difficult years of coaching for you, but tonight, most important game of the season for this team. The emotions right now, getting ready to face a club in an arena that's been a big part of your basketball life.
It's just a big night. There's no question about it. You know, I thought our guys played very well yesterday, and I was really happy for the way we played. And you know, we thought we were going to play Utah, but UNLV played a great ball game last night, and so here we are.
This is a special place for you. Your thoughts right now?
Well, I have great memories in here, but you know, I've been out of here for a long time now, so you know, this is now somebody else's turn in here.
That somebody else is Bill Baino, 3rd year, 50 wins. He's 39-13 on this floor. So he's taken Tark's legacy and continued it very well. The Nike starting lineup for UNLV and Tyrone Nesby. 7 of 18 last night. He was 4 of 7 from three-point range, 8 rebounds and 22 against Utah. Jerry Tarkanian, 3rd year at FSU. Chris Herron is the biggest character on the floor tonight. All WAC out of the Pacific Division, 16 a game, and he runs the offense for Tark. By the way, Jerry Tarkanian's record on this floor, how about this, folks? 131 wins, 9 losses, an unbelievable 936 winning percentage. Avondre Jones tips it a couple of times, and the Bulldogs the higher seed in the home whites. It'll go to Vegas. Over the baseline, that's official Bob Stappen, David Hall, and Mark Reichling. Pretty good percentage at Fresno State as well. Tark is 3rd all-time with a winning percentage career-wise of 8-15.
Fresno State opens up in their amoeba defense. Now they feel like it will be effective tonight. UNLV, they have not seen anything like it so far this season.
What about the UNLV legs? We'll find out. These kids have been busy this week. 3rd game in 4 days. Fresno had a breather against San Diego State early last evening. It won't go down for Brian Keefe, who is 0 for 4 against Rick Majerus' defense last night. Avondre Jones from Rafer Alston.
By Fresno State, they'll be on the attack mode early in this ball game. And 2 times I've seen in the first 5 minutes, they really get after you face to face. You need to meet the challenge or you don't.
There's Alston out on top against Dickel. Mark had a wonderful game against Utah last night. So did Big T, Tyrone Nesby with the 3.
Fresno would like to play this game in the 80s, and when they do, they're almost unbeatable. Only 1 loss on the season. UNLV last night, they were wanting to speed the game up. Tonight, they want to control it down just a little bit.
And keep that 80 in mind. 17-1 are the Dogs when they get 80 this year. Dickel straight ahead to Keefe, slashing. Can't score, but Kamala is there.
Expect Keefe to be a factor tonight. Last night is pretty much a half-court affair. He could not free himself up from the defense. In the transition game, he now is a factor on the offensive end for UNLV.
Alley-oop, Herron down to Folks, took a bump from Kambala. And Jermaine Folks drawing the foul.
I mean, look at that. Yeah, I mean, over a 2-week period, 7 games. That was his big concern this afternoon when I talked to him on the phone. He said, we've got to play through it. We don't have any other options.
They don't have shoot-arounds anymore. They have lay-arounds. They're too tired to go shoot. Nesby on top to Dickel. Kevin Simmons, so good in the second half of the season.
Well, that amoeba defense, the back line of it, those three guys are interchangeable parts. They get out and cover the corner, and then they got a different rotation than a standard 2-3 zone.
Aaron at the top right now. Dickel gets it back. Shot clock to 10. Rebels 5-2 early. Nesby dribbles into his range. Long and left. Simmons, the offensive rebound. Takes a hit on the way up. Looks like that one might be against Terrence Roberson.
I mean, Nesby's a shooting threat up top because of his size at 6'7". He's going to shoot over those smaller top people all night long, and then when those shots don't go, Simmons, Kumbala, they've got to be aggressive on those glass areas tonight.
Kevin Simmons had 10 rebounds last night against Utah, so he's got an offensive one already. Drains the free throw. His minutes keep going up. Jerry Tarkanian with son Danny at his side like he was here. Simmons got them both. It's a 7-0 UNLV run after the early basket from Rafer Alston to Andre Jones. Jermaine Folks can't knock it down. And then underneath, it's Jones with 4.
All triggered by the initial penetration of Chris Herron. To me, that's the key in this ball game tonight for UNLV, stopping the dribble drive.
And it's almost like having 2 point guards, because Rafer Alston does it very nicely himself. In fact, Rafer had a career night last evening against the Utes.
Against this defense, Bob, you've got to force the backline guys, the forwards, to come out and cover on the wing area. If you don't, then you're not going to get good looks.
Simmons, skip pass. Nesby, that shot was deflected. And if Andre Jones came jumping out, that is a 3-shot foul.
You see, Nesby is a shooting threat out there on that high wing area, and as a result, the bottom guy has to come out to cover. Now, that's what I'm talking about. If you can get that bottom guy in the amoeba defense to come out to that wing area, then you got open looks from the corner, or you attack the ball side block.
Tyrone, a 69% free throw shooter. Well, there's the line on him. He hit some big threes. I mean, the timing of his shots last night, just as important as the quantity of points.
You know, Jack Fertig, the assistant for Fresno, made that point to me before the ball game. He said, you know, Nesby's a guy that you look at his numbers, only 38% shooting from the field, but his big shot ability that really stands out. And you like it if you're Billy Bano, and you're worried about it if you're Jerry Tarkanian.
You know, that's all one word, Jim. Big shot ability.
Yeah, he's got it.
Well, not too many guys can spell it. Not too many can do it. Tyrone Nesby is one of those. Aaron on top.
UNLV so far straight man-to-man defense. Now they will go to a 2-3 matchup zone at some point in this ball game.
Great look, Chris Herron to Andre Jones, and that could be another one early on Kumbala. Well, if you think we've had a lot of basketball so far this week and today, how about 7 of them for you tomorrow? The America East, the ACC, both semifinals, starting to look like Carolina and Duke in the championship game, isn't it? Then we go to the A10. GW came up big against Temple. The Big East championship continues. And then, of course, tomorrow night at 10 Eastern, it's almost like an afternoon game for Jimmy and I, as we'll have a 7 o'clock local, 10 o'clock Eastern WAC championship tomorrow night. And then the Big Sky after Sports Center in the wee hours on Sunday.
How impressive was Kenny Thomas down the stretch tonight against TCU?
Totally took over the game.
Yeah.
Of Andre Jones unable to hit. It is number 2 on Kasper Kumbala.
Again, this is not a traditional 2-3 zone. You got the back guys that will go to the corner one time and go to the block the next. You've got to have 3 interchangeable defenders to run this defense, and Jerry Tarkanian has it across that front line.
Fresno forcing UNLV to be very deliberate in the half court. Shot clock at 4. Dickel shovels it, and it skipped right by the man that pass was intended for, as Isaiah Epps wasn't quite ready. 4 11 in, home team, sort of, by 5. Nevada, Las Vegas, 5th seed out of the Mountain Division. Fresno State, number 2 out of the Pacific. Some interesting defensive looks early in this one.
Well, I want to try to explain the amoeba just a little bit here as we get a look at the last possession. Tremaine Folks is playing that forward position right now in the 2-3 amoeba zone. When the ball comes to the high wing area, he's forced to step out and take it. But now here's the rotation. When the ball goes to the corner, he now becomes the inside defender across that 2-3 alignment. So that's the type of defensive system and shuffle that you don't normally see out of a 2-3 zone. And Jerry Tarkanian's won a lot of ball games with that amoeba shifting 2-3 alignment.
Chris Herron getting ready. He took the floor just before the game, went over and kissed Billy Bano on the cheek. Then he shot some free throws while everybody else was standing around in their huddles. I saw him an hour before the game. He looked like a jumping bean. He couldn't stand still.
No one this year has been able to stop Chris Herron from penetrating that ball to the lane area.
Isaiah Epps just did. Mark Dickel. Ray for Alston watching him. Flashing to the wing, Brian Keith. He needs to hit a shot here sometime. 0 for 4 last night as Rick Majerus designed a defense to stop his red-hot shooting.
Fresno now in straight man-to-man defense. And we got Alston shadowing Dickel and Herron keeping an eye on the three-point shooter Keith.
Shot clock at 5. Nesby looked up, saw the clock, penetrates, hangs, couldn't bank it in. Kept alive by Epps. Over to the Fresno bench. It's going back the other way.
Last trip, Chris Herron, I mean, he gets to the paint area. Now, this time he doesn't do anything at the finish, but his ability to do that right there, get to that low block, that white area on that lane, and create things, a real problem tonight for UNLV, stopping this guy's penetration ability.
We've had a couple of slow starting games offensively here tonight. TCU and New Mexico were 2-2 for about the first 6 minutes of the game. Ray for Alston had a great game against San Diego State last night with 19 points, 4 rebounds, couple of assists. Now the Rebels unable to get it done. Looking at the Big West results rolling in. And here we are in the WAC. The winner of this game to take on the Lobos tomorrow night for the automatic bid. Folks, what a great rebounder. Switches to the left hand, threw up an air ball. Tremaine Folks, number 1 in the WAC at 11 rebounds a game. Dickel with the kick for Keith. Double team, traffic, won't go for it. Epps kept it alive. Last touch by Terrence Roberson.
You see what they do to Keith. When he catches the basketball, they rush at him and make him a dribbler. Now, Keith is a tremendous three-point shooter, so you make him do something that's not his strength, and you've done your job defensively.
Dickel will throw it in. Nesby open corner. Herron a touch of Andre Jones with the outlet.
You know, Ray for Alston, his decision-making over the last month of the season, a real bonus right now for Jerry Tarkanian. He's great in an open floor situation, and his half-court decisions graying out awfully high right now.
Over 200 assists on the year. Herron the kick for Rafer. Andre Jones way up there over Epps. Can't knock it down. Folks keeps it alive. And then finally Tremaine gets the foul over the top. Tremaine Folks averaging 13 rebounds his last 13 games.
Well, Jones and Folks, now they're going to check your oil every time that ball gets above the rim, and you've got to meet their aggression. You see, Folks, those guys are quick jumpers and good box off that time by the inside play of the UNLV front line. Gets the foul call.
Winfred Walton checks in for Fresno State. There he is, number 5, a slim down 6'9", 240. Did not score. Fouled out 10 minutes of play against the Aztecs last evening. By far his worst game of the year. They didn't really need him in that game, though. He gets a flush look. Maybe that'll get him going.
I tell you what happened. The game became a scramble situation, and that allowed Keith to free himself up from the defense.
Sometimes it's the best part, Jimmy, just to find yourself some space, huh?
Well, it's against a team that shadows you as close as these guys do, and Keefe will benefit from the transition game tonight.
Roberson, good three-point shooter. Terrence knocks it down from the corner. He had 3 out of 5 last night after a mini slump of 6 for 19.
And Roberson was a real slasher coming out of high school, and he was developing into a terrific three-point threat. They'd like to see him go back to putting the ball on the floor a little bit more.
Entry pass. Fade away. Won't go down for Kevin Simmons. Isaiah Epps. He got double-teamed as Winfred Walton came down to help out of Andre Jones. They're pretty big when Walton and Jones play side by side. Clock running down to 8 minutes into the game. UNLV by 2, 11-9. We've got a whistle down low.
You look at the boards right there in UNLV now. They did it last night to Utah as well, and Utah leads the country in rebound margin. So they've made a commitment with Keon Clark out of the lineup to rebound by committee, and it's very effective.
Kevin Simmons takes a seat, just committed that foul. And it looks like Donovan Stewart might be holding his man. That was Terrence Roberson trying to get open for the inbounds pass. Donovan just wrapped him up.
Bob, both these clubs are nothing real complicated in their half-court offensive attack. I mean, it's pretty much based on one-on-one ability, making plays, penetrating, pitching the basketball.
Aaron thought he had Keefe sleeping. Keefe now scoring. Pretty quick 94-foot run right there.
Again, last night it was a half-court game, and Utah threw a blanket over this guy. But now you get the game going up and down, and he becomes an offensive factor. Look at him. And he gets the ball and then takes it straight to the rim from that right side. And pretty athletic play out of Keefe, who's known as a three-point specialist. I mean, look at the concentration. The contact came. He kept his head up, got the ball up in that square, and got it to drop. And that's huge, getting him involved from an offensive standpoint.
Well, that's 5 more than he had last night. Here's Walton. A little shake and bake and a stop and go. And then of Andre Jones on the receiving end. What a nice penetrating play by Winfred Walton. 6'9". Keefe for Epps. The pace is quickening here. Walton the rebound. Looks like somebody shot off the starter's gun, Jimmy Dykes.
Well, everybody with the exception of Jones with the ball right now is a threat to do something off the dribble for Fresno.
And of Andre Jones is drawing fouls on everybody. He's got Isaiah Epps that time.
If you let Andre Jones become a finesse-type player inside, he can get 20 on you. And the scouting report tells us be physical with him, push him off that block area, make him earn his points, and you can hold him to 7 or 8, but he's got a lot of ability. He's allowed just to operate with a lot of freedom on the inside.
Andre Jones, one of these suspended Bulldogs during the season. Jermaine Folks is back, number 23 for Fresno State, and Kevin Simmons alongside. Andre Jones did not play from January 31st until February 18th for violation of team rules. Nesby saves it. Dickel grabs it on the near side. Rebels by 3. Rebels by 6. As Kevin Simmons, whatever Billy Bano said to him worked. He was having a hard time getting into the flow. He drains the 3, and Tark needs a 20.
I mean, there's a lot of weapons on the floor for both clubs tonight. You look at Simmons, not a great night last night, but he's been averaging about 15 a ball game coming into this tournament. Again, I like three-point shooters that are 6'7", 6'8", because they're going to get a good look. The smaller defender's not going to take them out of their game on that perimeter. Just jump up and shoot it down over them. When I'm coaching in this ball game, Bobby, here's what I'm concerned with. There's so much individual talent on each club. I mean, you got high school All-Americans galore out here. And you want to make sure that they understand that this is not a Portsmouth-type atmosphere where you're try to do your thing and impress the NBA scouts. The 5 guys that buy into, hey, this is a team affair tonight, they're going to win this ball game. And I've talked to both coaching staffs, and they understand.
UNLV with good distribution in the scoring. Winford Walton wasn't looking for the pass. He flashed up high. Heron put it off his hands. The turnover. Beno's into it. So's his team. Rebels by 6. Championship week winding down a bit here. We're in the WAC semifinals on a Friday night in Las Vegas. A lot more coming up. And how about Sunday to wrap it up? Chris Fowler, Digger Phelps, and Dick Vitale, presented by GTE, the men's tournament selection special. They'll look over the brackets, give you their thoughts on the Final Four, and then you'll see the women's brackets for the first time an hour later when Robin Roberts, Mimi Griffin, and Rebecca Lobo bring you the women's selection special presented by State Farm.
Bobby, look at the number of minutes that UNLV played last night. Simmons 35, Nesby 35, Dickel 39, and Fresno had no one playing over 27. So UNLV with some tired legs, and you need fresh legs to go 40 minutes against the guys in white.
Nesby with the air ball. Saved by Simmons. Deflected to Keith. How about that for a return pass? That was one of the craziest give-and-goes I've ever seen. They've still got 10 on the shot clock to gather themselves and do something here. Dickel penetrating. 3 dogs go after him. Heron saves it. And the shot clock expires. They never did get the ball to the iron. That was a crazy possession.
Boy, Dickel penetrated with that basketball, and you saw 2 or 3 white jerseys step up and attack the dribble, and that's exactly what you got to do to stop that dribble penetration.
Yeah, how did 3 guys do that without getting a foul? That was pretty good. Here's the entry. Avondre Jones, the turnaround. He is hot early. Avondre, 8 points. When he was 2 for 2, the rest of his teammates were 0 for 4. Simmons short. Uncontested. Chris Heron rebound.
See, what kind of basket, though, was that for Avondre Jones? That was a catch, turn, and shoot, a finesse basket. You got to be tough with him. Put your body on him.
Look at him and Jermaine Fultz keep it alive. 3-on-1 are the Rebels. Dickel for Keith. And a foul.
I mean, that's a transition game with high IQ. First of all, you got to secure that loose ball and that rebound. Now they've got it. It's a 3-on-1. Heron's the only guy back. He tries to make the only play you can make when he's a lone defender. But again, there's our guy Keith that was no factor last night involved in this game because it's an up-and-down affair.
Brian Keith was 7 already. Last night he was 0 for 4. 2 of those shots were 3-pointers. He had 1 rebound and 1 assist. Tonight he's looking like he did in the first game of this WAC tournament when he had 19 against Hawaii on 5 of 11 3-point shooting.
I think we're going to get a real flavor for this ball game over the next 9.5 minutes.
Heron penetrated. Donovan Stewart grabbed him for the foul as David Hall whistled him on the baseline.
I mean, Chris Heron is the classic hard-to-guard guy that I talk about a lot. Watch him work, first of all, without the basketball. His ability to free himself up, boom, just off a little headhunter screen. And as soon as he catches it, where's he end up? Right there in front of the rim. And it's his ability to do that, Bobby, I'm telling you. Awfully tough to defend for 40 minutes.
I still can't understand, though, why Chris is not a better free throw shooter. 56%. That one not even close.
Let me tell you why I think. And other coaches have talked about this with me. This is the only part of the ball game that he's not going 100 miles an hour. He has to slow down and stop and kind of gather himself. And there's nothing about Chris Heron that says that's what I'm good at. I mean, he's good at going 100 miles an hour. You've got to put him in that free throw line and slow him down, and it's not real effective.
Kind of like a pitcher without a changeup.
Good point.
Ray Ferralston the foul. Team fouls piling up now, 6 on both clubs, and we've still got 9:34 before halftime. So figure to be spending some time at the line. And there's Greedy Daniels into the game. They told me yesterday he was about 65% with the hamstring, and they just didn't want to aggravate that further. But evidently he can give them a couple of minutes here tonight. Brian Keith is back, folks. He's got the 3. He's got 10. And the Rebels lead by 8. Heron with a long 3 short. I thought the jersey was going to get ripped off of Larry Abney right there. He got the rebound. We've got a possession call. It's going back to the Rebels.
I mean, look at the shot. That's pretty good defense by Heron. He gets there a little bit late. But now Keefe's a guy that's got all kinds of confidence back in his offensive game because of the start that he had shooting layups. Sounds kind of odd, I know, but he shot some layups, and now he's got his three-point shot back.
Just the mental aspect of getting on the board. Grady Daniels probably won't be jitterbugging and penetrating a whole lot. Tyrone Nesby again. UNLV by 11. Almost taken away there by Nesby. Walton escapes. Ray for Alston for Heron. Now he'll penetrate after passing up the three. Well off to the right. And it's going back to Nevada, Las Vegas.
Watch Nesby. He's a screener. He's going to be a screener first of all, and now all of a sudden he becomes a shooter. That's a great way to get a shooter involved. Use him as a screener first, force his man to help defensively, and then relocate. That's a great example of it.
Tyrone Nesby is going to be on the all-tournament team, I think, whether UNLV plays tomorrow night or not. High off the glass, Donovan Stewart. All 5 guys have scored now. 8 minutes to go first half. It's all UNLV. They're on top by 13. And David Hall whistles down Donovan Stewart.
Stewart's given up about 3 inches down low to Tremaine Folks, and Folks posting with an attitude. And that's what you want out of your inside guys, posting like I really want the basketball, and this time foul gets called because of it.
Chris Heron gets a breather. Heron has 1 point in this game. Avondre Jones has 8. To go with 4 rebounds, and it's Tremaine Folks at the line. That's his first point. This another guy who was suspended for a couple of games. Donovan Stewart sitting down with 3 fouls now. But this Fresno team got a lot better when Tremaine came back. He is a superior rebounder.
And he's been averaging about 18 points a ball game over the last 7. And you're right, he gets a lot of it off that offensive glass.
Under 8 minutes to go, first half. Tyrone Nesby picking up where he left off last night. Up and down it goes. UNLV by 11. Running Rebels of UNLV 27-16 over Fresno State. Looking like some of the old Jerry Tarkanian teams on this floor with that great dominance. And we asked Billy Baino, how did it feel to go against Tark again tonight?
I don't think so. You know, like I said, we play the Lakers tonight. You know, we had a tough season. We went through a lot. This group has shown unbelievable resiliency. We're just happy to still be playing. We think we're playing our best basketball. We hope we have enough gas left. We've been through, you know, 4 tough games in a row here in the last 8 or 9 days. But, you know, we're coming out and just going to play hard and play together and hope we can keep this thing going. But we're just happy to be playing, so I don't feel any pressure. And I really, you know, I know my kids don't.
Billy Baino sounds like a coach who's been hollering 7 of the last 14 nights, doesn't he?
Working awfully hard. And he told me today on the phone that his 8-man rotation is the key to this stretch run that they're on right now. Everybody knows their role and knows how many minutes they're going to play. And great togetherness on that club.
Jasper Scambalo left the game early with a couple of fouls. That was less than 4 minutes in. He was stopped cold by Avondre Jones that time. So here come the Bulldogs after the defensive stop. Chris Heron not in the game. Roberson, good 3-point shooter. Tremaine Folks out high. He's better down low, and he travels. First 2 games of this tournament, UNLV knocked off Hawaii Tuesday. Utah in a real battle last night. A game like that last night, 54-51 against that club, has to really take it out of you.
You know, you talked about them having a lay-around instead of a shoot-around, but you're right. I mean, instead of going to the gym this afternoon and walking through things for about an hour, they simply shot free throws and watched some film. And an experienced coach realizes the importance of rest at this point in the season for his club.
Yeah, any parent knows kids can't bounce off the walls every day. Gotta have... Oh, my goodness! Ryan Key! I didn't know if it had ever come down. When it did, he got a dozen. He has 12 of UNLV's 29, and they lead by 13. Walton, the turnaround. Big fella's got a nice touch. That's his first basket. He's averaging 12 a game with 6 rebounds. Alley-oop. Nesby never got there. Actually got to the ball when it was behind the glass. That's a good call by the official down there, Mark Reichling. And it'll go back to the Dogs as Chris Herron will go to the table and check back in. Mark Dickel is back. By the way, Chris Herron and Tremaine Folks. No field goals yet. Rafer Alston gets the breather.
I really thought by this point in the first half we would see that 2-3 matchup zone out of UNLV, but their half-court man has been so effective. Billy Bano stays with it.
And Winfred Walton can shoot the 3. That's his 30th 3 of the year. Nesby at the other end. Scoops it. Kumbala can't grab it. And suddenly Winfred Walton has given us a bit of a momentum shift here. Ball barely nicking iron from the hands of Terrence Roberson. And the Rebels will have it. Suddenly their lead down to 8.
Fresno back to the zone. Again, you make that first pass and force one of the bottom guys to come out to the wing area, then you can go to work. If those 3 guys across the back are allowed to stay at home, then you're forced to hit jump shots from around that 3-point line.
Bill Bano calling an audible in the middle of this possession. They changed the play on the perimeter. Kumbala fumbles. And now suddenly the UNLV offense has slowed a bit. And Fresno State has some momentum. 0 for 5 collectively. 2 of the big guns for Fresno. Herron for Avondre Jones. Into the paint. Another finesse basket. And the big fella's into double figures.
Defensively, if you front Avondre Jones, you can take him out of the ballgame. If you continue to play from behind, he's going to get 20 on you.
How about Keith? Bryan's almost at 20. That's 15 first half points. Here's Herron against Dickel. Kumbala with the rejection. Folks tiptoeing to stay in. Nobody goes at him, so he takes the shot. And Kaspers Kumbala elbows everybody away. Rebels by 9. Simmons puts it on the floor. Gets it back. Into the paint. Ripped away by Winfred Walton. Here's Herron. Back to Walton. Couldn't catch it. Roberson does and draws the foul. That'll be number 2 on Kevin Simmons. 18 fouls against the Rebels, who are actually again tonight the visiting team because of their lower seed, 5th out of the Mountain Division. Fresno State, number 2 seed, behind TCU out of the Pacific. Horned Frogs are gone from this tournament. When New Mexico got him in the game right before this, 80-73. And Jimmy Dykes, you talked about Kenny Thomas, 22 points, 12 rebounds, 2 blocks in that game. Clayton Shields, 18 points, 10 rebounds. Dave Bliss's team had a fantastic second half.
I'm telling you what, about the 8-minute mark of the first half in yesterday's ball game, they took a timeout, and it really looked like to me that Dave Bliss told his club, hey guys, Chris Olney is not going to come back. Now we can either start playing and keep playing, or we can shut it down and go home. And from that point on, they've played very good basketball in this tournament.
It was against TCU, and Royce Olney went out with the injury. Nesby keeps it. Keith again. Just rimmed out on him. Roberson the rebound.
Somebody defensively better introduce themselves to Brian Keith.
Roberson created his own shot. Winfred Walton the rebound. Right in front of Epps. That'll be number 2 on Isaiah. managed to run into Dave Bliss just for a minute or two after that game tonight. And he was marveling. There's Kenny Thomas on the right. Marveling at the resilience of his club. He said, you know, we went to TCU. They destroyed us. We lost Royce Olney. And who was going to replace him? He said, I thought we were dead there for a while tonight, and they bounced back. And we both agreed that the kids bounce back a lot quicker than the adults do in these situations. 3:49 before halftime. 32-26 UNLV. Fresno, though, some momentum lately. A lot of speculation around the weekend. Jimmy Dykes has been walking around with his brackets, talking about who's going where. Now, Jimmy, in the postseason, there's a general feeling that 3 teams from this league will go. If Vegas or Fresno do not get out of here winning it and getting the automatic bid, and if there was a 4th team for the WAC, who do you think it would be?
Well, right now, I think you've got to give the nod to UNLV or Fresno, the team that advances on tonight, because you had several teams, Tulsa, Colorado State, SMU, Wyoming, Hawaii. I mean, they all came in here knowing that they've got to play their way into the tournament, and these are the 2 teams that have done it. I mean, here they sit in the semifinals, and I think you got to reward the guys that go the furthest in their conference tournament.
But you and I can argue about this a little bit, can't we?
Yeah, because, I mean, there's a case for every team in there right now. I mean, look at all those teams in that WAC with 18, 19 wins, and in my opinion, this is still an underrated, underexposed league. Now, here's an example. I know the Big Ten is going to get 5, probably 6 teams in. You take the top 6 teams out of this league, the top 6 teams out of the Big Ten, and go head-to-head on a neutral floor. This team, this league, Bob, I think at worst they finish 500 in that situation. That's the strength of this league, I think, that people don't realize.
Interesting point. My personal favorite is a club that beat Indiana, beat the Missouri Valley champion, Illinois State, beat Nebraska, and beat Kansas. That, of course, Riley Wallace's Rainbows out in Hawaii. They've had an outstanding season. 5 in a row late. Winning record on the road for the 2nd straight year. Tyrone Nesby knocks it down. He has 11. So we'll continue this friendly discussion throughout the evening.
Well, I think the bottom line is there's quality teams in this league that they deserve 4 teams in the NCAA and then another, certainly 3 in that NIT.
Chris Aaron finally slashes for a basket. 3 for him.
And he just keeps coming at you. You back off of him for a second, and he's at the rim finishing on you.
Rebels by 7. Crowd a bit quiet. I haven't noticed quite the intensity in this crowd that there was last year when Tart came back for the first time. I mean, that was just a wild night right from the first tap. The home team, UNLV, won that one. A lot more at stake in this game. Terrence Roberson knocks it down. That 3 gives him 8. Junior out of Saginaw, Michigan. Jimmy talked about what a great slasher he was coming out of the high school ranks. 35-30, down to 2 minutes before halftime. Dickel on the drive. The dish for Kumbala.
Oh, goodness. Now that's how you finish. You got a dump truck type body, and Kumbala's got one.
That was a load. Aaron runs away from Keith. Finger rolls it home.
And there it is again. That guy going to the rim with a basketball is dangerous.
Keith short with the 3. He looked a little uncertain about whether to pull the trigger on that shot or not.
Well, the dribble penetration frees this thing up for Kumbala right there, getting to the heart of that defense and then dropping it off to probably the strongest low post guy in this league. And that's not a guy that I think carries an umbrella when it's raining on campus. You know what I'm saying? And he just walks out and gets after it. He's tough.
Aaron for Alston. Chris Aaron draws the foul. As Isaiah Epps was trying to stay with him, Aaron just scrambling all over the place. Chris Fowler's in the studio with our 7-up halftime report. Quite a ball game here earlier tonight. TCU's winning streak came to a close. Battle of Indiana in the Big Ten tournament, and Heartbreak City for Fran Fraschilla and the Johnnies tonight in the Big East. It's all coming up at halftime.
You look at Herron's numbers last night at the free throw stripe. Right now he had 8 assists and only 1 turnover. He's got a unique ability to dribble the basketball one direction and then in a second be jumping another direction. I mean, he avoids the defense as well as any guard I've seen this season as far as not picking up charges. And time again already in this half, 2 or 3 dribbles, he's in that paint area.
I guess who has 6, maybe 7 points all of a sudden. Aaron settles for 6 after playing about 16 minutes of this half with 1 point. Nesby for Kumbala. Roberson late getting there. Casper Kumbala now with a half dozen. He was on the bench early with 2 fouls. 1 minute before halftime. Running Rebels by 6. Terran. Nothing in the middle.
First time we've seen the matchup zone. UNLV was very effective with this defense last night against Utah.
Alston for 3. Rafer short. Simmons can't keep it alive with Tremaine Folks, who touched it last. And Billy Bano's team will get it back. He'll go ahead and use his 22nd timeout. Tark used one earlier, and Bano should use one here.
Watch what UNLV does that last time down against this Amoeba defense. They force the bottom guy to come out and cover high on the wing area, and as a result, the low block's open. Kumbala establishes himself in catching position and goes up and shoots it down. And that is the key, in my opinion, attacking that zone defense of Fresno. Force the bottom guy to come out and cover the wing area.
Well, it might be a bad hair night, but it's a good basketball night here in Las Vegas. Got some exciting things happening at ESPN over the next week or so. Championship week to wrap it up. Now, that's good hair right there.
What timing that was.
There's no way I'm making fun of that guy.
Caspers, that was Bobby Carpenter that was saying that about you. Wasn't me.
Hey, ESPN News magazine hits the newsstands on Thursday. Most comprehensive look at the NCAA tournament fields. We will feature Antoine Jameson, women's basketball. Dan Patrick will have a preview show for ESPN Magazine next Wednesday night at 7:30 Eastern Time. Dan will not be reading the entire magazine to you. He'll just be telling you about it.
Well, we've been excited about that thing since back in the fall when they were talking about it up in Bristol, and that's going to be a dandy magazine.
Kumbala. This pass deflected on the way to Kevin Simmons. Yeah, I heard earlier tonight it's going to be the size of the old Life magazine, huh?
Big pictures.
Hope it fits in our briefcase. Here's Herron.
There he is.
Scoring again.
There's a story of the game right now for Fresno. That guy's ability beating people off the dribble.
Brian Keefe has been the story for Nevada, Las Vegas. 6 of 12. He's hit a couple of threes. So right now at the half, it's Vegas by 4. Chris Fowler, the guard, starting to take control of this semifinal game. Running Rebels of UNLV had a 13-point lead at 29-16. Fresno led only once. That was early. But the Dogs got all the late momentum. Chris Herron coming up strong late. And the guards really having a factor in this game tonight, especially Brian Keith, who didn't do anything against Utah 24 hours ago.
You got one guy on one end shooting threes and a guy on the other taking people off the dribble. And Brian Keith is a real factor right now for UNLV. I mean, he was shooting layups the first 3 or 4 minutes, and then he starts spotting up around that three-point line where he's most effective. 15 first half points out of the guy. And then on the other end, Chris Herron, his ability to do that. Now, he scored 7 of the last 9 points for Fresno over the last 2:48. And you better get on Chris Herron's right hand defensively if you're UNLV. That is his strength.
Bulldogs of Fresno with possession to start the second half. Down by 4. Playing for a date against New Mexico tomorrow night. Herron the miss. And Kevin Simmons with his 5th rebound of the night. Nickel for Keith. And around the perimeter to Tyrone Nesby. Terrence Roberson drawing the Nesby assignment right now. Upper part of your screen. Lost him for a moment, so Tyrone slashes by him, sets up Keith, but the 3 was well off to the left. Low bouncer, Folks, tough catch. Put the brakes on. Reverse layup wouldn't go. Herron will come out of that scrum with it. Ray for Alston for 3. Fresno needed that one coming out of halftime. And it's a 1-point game in the first minute of the second half.
Fresno stays with the zone. Now, they will at times double up that basketball in the short corner.
Simmons to Kumbala. Roberson on his back and no whistle. Alston for Roberson. The three-pointer goes down. And the Dogs are on top. And Bilbao wants a 20 very, very quickly. AC Delco brings us the first half numbers, Jimmy Dykes.
Look what stands out. 6 out of 12 from UNLV on that three-point shooting. And rebounds are about the same. And Keefe is the guy. Again, a goose egg yesterday, but very involved in this ballgame the first 20 minutes. And now Fresno, the last possession, this is them at their best. Roberson loves to run that left wing. He's a spot-up three-point guy, so scouting report tells you in transition you've got to run beside Roberson, be there when he catches that basketball, and not let him get that shot off. I mean, he's awfully good in transition.
Well, them Dogs, 2 of 10 from three-point land in the first half. They've hit 2 in a row coming out here, and they take a 2-point lead very quickly.
See, if they get Roberson running the left side and Heron running the right side and Alston pushing down the middle, very good transition game out of the guys in white.
Mark Dickel has not scored tonight, but he has a bunch of assists. Simmons the miss, and Fresno's really tough on the interior defense. Tremaine Folks, another tough catch. Roberson, another three, and they are on fire. 3 consecutive threes. It's a 9-0 Fresno run.
He loves the left side of the floor, folks. I'm telling you. You got to know where he is at all times when that ball's going from defense to offense. If you're UNLV, you're in that left lane and you be there with him.
Dickel runs into trouble. Dumps it for Keefe. Nesby open on the near side. Waving for the ball. Dickel passing on the shot. He'll cut to the left. Find himself open. And Epps with the exclamation point. That's Isaiah's first basket.
Well, the dribble penetration set that offensive rebound up because it got the defense out of alignment and no one was there to box off Epps. Just elevates and flushes.
Roberson again. Rebound, Folks. Did he push off? It'll be number 2 on Tremaine.
You watch Roberson. You see Folks right there run down the pass, and then there he is, that same exact spot on the floor. I mean, it's just automatic with that guy. And then here's the dribble penetration, gets the defense out of alignment, boom, and Epps finishes. That's the real keys right there. You got to take away the three-point shooting of Fresno and stop Dickel on that dribble drive.
Keefe with the bouncer down to Simmons. This one to Ty. Who touched it? Officials looking at each other. It'll stay with UNLV. Well, they hit those first 3 before they missed one. Now Tarn will check Winfred Walton back into the game, and Tremaine Folks will get a breather. Not a big night for Tremaine at all. 2 points and 4 rebounds in the first half. Here's Dickel. Off the catch, puts on the brakes. That was Heron reaching in to bat it away. Nesby for Dickel, for Keefe, to Ty. Again he misfires. Heron. Ball hit the iron. Should have been a pass. Keefe all the way. And Rafer Alston blocked it. Heron claiming it hit Keefe's leg on the way out.
You know, Keefe is doing a lot more things over the last 4 or 5 ball games other than shooting. I mean, you look at him again in transition, taking it to the rim. A real big part of this UNLV offense. Number 3 in the red.
Dickel, the kick for Nesby. They still can't tie it. 3 consecutive threes that would have knotted things up.
You knew the three-point shooting of Fresno would come into play. They've been averaging 8 or 9 makes from beyond the half moon over the last month of the season. So they weren't effective in the first 20 minutes, but they're going to keep firing at you.
Rafer Alston missing the 3. Keefe batted it. Nesby outlets for Dickel. 4 minutes out of halftime. Fresno by 3. They were down by 4 at the half. Simmons can't knock it down. Roberson outlets right to Keefe of UNLV. Dickel. Finally they tie it. One of those had to go in. And that's Mark Dickel's first basket of the night. He had 10 points, 4 assists against Utah last evening. He was really their strength on the perimeter, with Keith being shut down.
Yeah, in 39 minutes of play. Now that's the value of him right now, with Greedy Daniels out of the lineup for the most part.
Chris Herron a long 3 short. Tyrone Nesby starting to do the job rebounding. Dickel, good look. Simmons and Avondre Jones fouls him.
We'll appreciate 2 things: the pass, but then the hustle by Simmons to run down the floor and get himself on that low block initially. Pretty smart, controlled secondary break that time out of UNLV.
Well, Chris Fowler was talking about the Big West earlier tonight. Simmons, all Big West. 2 years at UC Irvine. He was the freshman of the year in '95, 15 a game. Same stats in '96 when he made the all-conference team. He's become a very important part of this Las Vegas club, and that's a half dozen for Kevin now. Originally out of Redemption Christian Academy in Brooklyn, played at Christ the King for a couple of years. He has been all over the basketball map. Seven for Kevin Simmons. Well, Fresno State came out firing with 3 consecutive threes. Finally, Mark Dickel got the equalizer for the Runnin' Rebels, and they lead by 2. The excitement is back for UNLV at the Thomas & Mack Center. This building seats 18,500. Big crowd here tonight. And how about last night, when UNLV did some things that Utah normally does, Jim?
Yeah, look at that. I mean, they double them up on the free throw attempts, and they out-rebound them by 10. And Utah's a club that leads the country in rebound margin, and that 3-point shooting for UNLV was on last night. They did a very good job. 4 of 20 was Utah from beyond that 3-point line. So Billy Bano's squad, he's exactly right. His 8-man rotation is working very well for him right now. Together and a lot of effort equals wins for the Rebels.
The battle Las Vegas and Fresno State for a date against New Mexico tomorrow night. Yeah, Herron got fouled. That's why he lost control. Is that another one on Donovan Stewart? In the first half, he played 4 minutes, scored 2 points, had 3 fouls. Now he has 4. And he's one of their slashers in there. That'll get Keith back into the game. By the way, Vegas is on a 7-0 run right now after Fresno had built that 5-point lead, 44-39. Rebels have not shot well out of halftime, only 2 of 11. But that 3 can change things. Dickel hit it, and they've been okay ever since. Alston for 3. Rafer short. Ball hits the back of Dickel, and Larry Abney keeps it alive. Haven't seen much of Larry tonight, who did some starting for Tark second half of the year. Loose ball for Mark Dickel. Nesby open near side. Walton closed on it. Kumbala, can anybody stop him? Oh, he was too low with his shot, but there was contact. Abney on his back. How about Kaspers Kumbala on the offensive glass tonight?
Well, here's a guy that doesn't really do a lot of rebounding above the rim, but because of his great position, I mean, he grabs that ball below the rim, and if he doesn't hesitate and just goes straight back up, he probably gets the 2 plus the bonus. This guy's a young player. Look at that, freshman of the year honors for this guy. He's made some defensive mistakes early in the year that's kind of kept him with more consistent minutes for Billy Bano.
He has 7 of their rebounds, and 3 of them are at the offensive end. So now Kumbala with 8 points and 7 boards. Nice night for the first-year man from Latvia via Homestead, Wisconsin. Long 3 for Roberson. Nesby hands it off to Mark Dickel again.
Well, you watch the number of times the ball goes up for both clubs after only 2 or 3 passes, and sometimes the shot selection leaves a little bit to be desired.
Simmons, yes, and a foul. He outraced everybody in the paint.
When Keon Clark went out this lineup for the rest of the year that puts a lot of pressure on Simmons to become a tougher inside player, and there's a good example of it. Caught the ball with his back to the basket, and then the defensive help doesn't come, so he just gets 1 or 2 dribbles in front of the rim and finishes. Spent the first part of the season kind of floating around out on the perimeter, and Billy Bano said, hey, without Keon Clark, you got to start getting things done inside, and he's accepted the assignment.
Yeah, considered a power player. You just saw why. Kevin Simmons with 9 after that missed free throw. Now the Rebels on top by 6. They trailed by 5. Who's going to answer here for Fresno? How about Winford Walton? He's had some great moments in this game. 6 points in 12 minutes in the first half. That gives him 8 now. Aaron almost stealing.
And Winford Walton yesterday had half of the Olympic symbol. There's 3 zeros connected, no points, no rebounds, no assists, and that's not what you want.
It was not a gold medal game at all.
No, not at all. But
he fouled out, played only 10 minutes.
He's got a lot of skills. I mean, he's had some big games for Fresno State from throughout this year, and he's a guy right now that Jerry Tarkanian really needs over the last 13 minutes.
Keith well short. Walton got out there on him a bit. Aaron takes on Dickel. Kicks for Roberson. Back to Chris. Way long with the 3. Walton gets there late. Knocks Kumbala down. Kaz 6'9", 250. Winford Walton 6'9", 240. That will be his second. Now last year Walton was up at around 260. And look at the disparity in team fouls. Looks like UNLV may keep that free throw advantage that they had like last night against Utah.
Well, you know what? They're a very quick team. I mean, their perimeter guys are quick, but look at Nesby and Simmons inside. There it is. Yeah. It's the quickness factor right now that's working for him.
That's some beautiful passing right there. Running Rebels by 6. 12 and a half minutes to go. Roberson down deep for Tremaine Folks. They've got to start getting something out of him. Andre Jones open at the free throw line. Casper Skambala with the rebound. Nesby thought about slashing there for a moment. Alley-oop was too short for him. Pretty tough to complete that one when it's low over 6'11" of Andre Jones. And then a big answer at the other end. Terrence Roberson with 16.
Bob, listen to me again. Terrence Roberson in transition. He likes to run the left side of the floor. You got to find him. The guy's a threat.
Yeah, when his left shoulder's pointed at that baseline, you're in trouble. Simmons against a double team down on the baseline. Keith. Simmons, the putback. He just hung around, and Kevin has 13. 8 of those since halftime.
I mean, how about Simmons? He makes the pass to the shooter, so immediately he becomes a rebounder and gets it to go back for him.
Roberson the rebound. Sneaks it over the iron, and a Vegas foul. Terrence Roberson having a big second half.
There's a lot of guys on the floor that play with a blue blazer. Talk about versatility. You see Roberson, the three-point shooter. Now he goes inside at 6'8", becomes an offensive rebounder and gets it to drop. Some very difficult one-on-one matchups that both these clubs can throw at you, and big number 44 is one of them.
Casper Skambala with his third. Roberson completes it. That's 19 for Terrence. I don't know if Grandma's up this late up in Saginaw.
No, I'm sure she is.
But she's got to be pleased with what her guy's doing right now, as Billy Bano is with Kevin Simmons. Some big guys having big second halves. UNLV by just 2. Pretty tight ball game. Both teams going at it right now. And right now, this game is a battle between Terrence Roberson and Kevin Simmons.
Watch the play by Simmons. He throws the ball out of the double team, and he knows I'm throwing it to a shooter, so then where does he show up? On that offensive glass. I mean, that's knowing your teammate. Simmons spotted a shooter on the weak side of the floor and got him the ball. And as soon as he delivered that basketball, he became an offensive rebounder. That's a high IQ play out of Kevin Simmons.
Greedy Daniels back running the point for UNLV. Played only 4 minutes in the first half with that bad hamstring. Did manage a couple of assists. Looks pretty quick there. I don't know if that pass was intended for Epps or Simmons, but it got to one of them. Here come the Dogs, 4-on-1. Heron, Roberson, Walton to finish. And Fresno ties the game with 11 minutes to go.
Okay, that's the first sign of UNLV tardy to the defensive end of the floor. Now we're at the last 10 minutes of this ball game, and Billy Beno's got to be concerned about the legs of the guys he's got on the floor. They have enough to finish it.
Tyrone Nesby, pretty good-looking jumper, if you will. 14 for the senior out of Cairo, Illinois. One of the first things to go when those legs go, your spring on that jump shot. And you got to work hard at the defensive end. Heron, the entry. Fultz putting on the floor over Epps. Really didn't get much arc on that shot at all. Pretty tough to get that one down off the glass. Greedy Daniels making a few things happen out there. Nesby or Epps for Greedy. Look at him whip right around Heron. Oh, he was ready to go up and put the ball right back in, but he lost the handle. 8 on the shot clock. They never did touch iron there. Roberson down the floor. Heron managed to put the brakes on.
See, Greedy Daniels penetrates to that baseline, and he's responsible for defensive balance. When that happens, the 2 guard, which is Keefe, he's got to recognize it and be back and keep that play from happening for UNLV.
By 1. Nesby. Rebound, Winford Walton. Heron right by Daniels. Epps got a piece of it on the way out. Outstanding shot blocker is Isaiah Epps. He had 5 in 2 different games this year, 4 against UCLA when the Bruins were ranked number 9.
This is the 22nd timeout that Billy Beno talked about, utilizing my timeouts tonight at proper times to make sure my kids rest. Now you look at all of them bending over right now, tugging on those shorts, and that's not a timeout, I don't think, to talk X's and O's. That's a timeout realizing I got 9 minutes to go and my guys are a little bit tired. I like the timeout call by Billy Beno.
So, Jimmy, in this huddle, is this as much motivation as it is everything? I mean, you talk about no X's and O's. He's trying to exhort his guys down the stretch now.
Well, certainly with 9 minutes to go, I mean, they've got no other option but to go at it. But if he can now utilize his timeouts over the last 9 minutes and maybe give him another break about halfway through this thing, then that's the sign again of a experienced young coach.
Well, he learned from one of the best. John Calipari, 88 through 95. Was with Larry Brown at Kansas for a little while, with PJ at Seton Hall back in the mid-'80s. So Billy Beno has been under some outstanding leaders.
Look at the score in the ball game again. I think it favors UNLV because if it gets in the 80s, that's where Fresno shines.
Alvondre Jones sweeping that one away. 4-on-3. Well, the Dogs are looking quick. Roberson a no-looker, but it was into traffic. And this one will go back to the running Rebels. The panting Rebels right now. Running's a little more difficult. Big Sky Championship coming up late tomorrow night after we do things out here in the WAC. Big Weston progress as well. Dickel against Alston here. Simmons over Fultz. Tough shot. Rebound, Ray for Alston. Straight ahead to Heron. He was fouled by Dickel. That's why he couldn't regain the handle on that one.
Bob, again, now in the last 2.5 minutes, that's twice now we've seen Fresno effective beating UNLV down the floor in transition. We can't talk enough about 7 games in 14 days for UNLV and 3 this week. And it eventually has to take it out of you. It will show up late in the ball game.
Chris Heron with 11. Casper Skambala returning with 3 fouls. He's had a good night for his minutes played. Donovan Stewart joins him. Isaiah Epps and Brian Keefe get breathers. If you're wondering about Brian Keefe, no, he has not scored since halftime. He had 15 at the half. And Skambala rips it down. Tie game, under 8 minutes to go here. Bob Carpenter, Jimmy Dykes. It's semifinal number 2 in the WAC. New Mexico beat TCU earlier tonight, 80-73. Dickel. And the long rebound for Terrence Roberson. Straight ahead they go. Maybe that'll get Tremaine Folks going as Rafer Alston really gave him a nice look.
Well, it's a transition basket again. The defense not able to keep up with Tremaine Folks as he runs down and gets in catching position.
That was his first basket of the night, averaging 15 points over the last month. Simmons backing in. Folks goes sprawling. And then Tremaine regains his footing and gets the foul. And the Fresno fans are upset about that one.
Fresno with 3 straight transition baskets. Watch from the rebound. Roberson cleans it up, and then they're advancing that ball off of the pass. And watch, Folks is already down there. Boom, right there, just beats the other defenders down the floor, and simple catch and put it in.
Kevin Simmons, 10 boards against Utah last night. 9 points, 5 rebounds against a good Hawaii team on Tuesday. He's got 14 tonight. 7:12 remaining. Who's going to take on New Mexico tomorrow night? Well, the feeling around these parts has been that either of these teams would have to win the tournament to get into the tournament. We asked Billy Baino if he thinks his team has a shot.
I think so. You know, I think we're probably paying for some of the problems we had earlier in the year. But if you look at 9 of our 12 losses were against top 10 or top 20 teams. You know, we can play with anyone in the country right now, and we won 8 of our last 10, and the only 2 losses have been to New Mexico when they were 8th in the country and playing their best basketball. We had a chance to win that one. We had a chance to win at Utah if we make foul shots when they were 4th in the country. So, yeah, I really believe this group does, simply because we're one of the hottest teams in the country right now, and I honestly believe in my heart we could play with anyone, especially on a neutral court.
Well, he did the right thing this year by scheduling a couple of years in advance a tough schedule, because he couldn't foresee the problems that he had with his suspensions, and he played a very difficult schedule, but as far as winning those was another story.
Bulldogs of Fresno by 1. Clock under 7 minutes. Donovan Stewart, baseline left, stuffed by Avondre Jones. I mean, a clean stuff reaching over the top. He's got 66 blocks on the year. Had 7 points and 10 rebounds against San Diego State last night.
How about UNLV? They're 1-9 this year against top 25 teams. Now they play the road.
Well, Donovan Stewart with his 2nd basket of the night. UNLV had only shot 6 out of 25. Brian Keefe is not in the game right now. He's 0 for 7. And Avondre Jones keeps showing us his power on defense and his finesse at the other end. That's a dozen for him.
A quickness basket that time out of Jones. He just flashed to the heart of that defense on the middle, caught it, and little jump hook.
High pick by Skambala, and then Rafer Alston grabbing at Dickel's jersey so he wouldn't get away. Kevin Stewart. Point guard looking for an opening. Shovels for Kumbala. And Andre Jones adjusted that shot. Heron thought about the three. Penetrates. Tremaine Fulks powers his way. Can't get it over the iron. But there is a foul. And if you go by the reactions, it would be number 3 on Kevin Simmons.
Well, again, that's another positive out of Fresno State in the running game, because again, Heron loves to run the right side. Look at him right there, calling for the basketball on the right side. Now when he catches it, he's a threat to do that. You got Roberson on the other side as a shooter, and Heron triggers the whole deal by getting to the middle of the defense and dropping it down to Fulks. And I mean, that to me is when they're at their best. You got Heron on the right side, who's a guy capable of breaking you down. You got Roberson on the left as a shooter, and some pretty good targets in the middle, cleaning things up.
5 for Tremaine Fulks. Running into your screen, Brian Keith, 0 for 7 since halftime. Since that huge first half that saw him score 15 points. Tyrone Nesby gets a breather. Tremaine Fulks, the freshman All-American in '95 with Cal. NCAA suspension the following year. Didn't play last year. And he's had to battle some lower back problems early in this season. Been really rounding into shape lately. Right now it's his Fresno club by 2. Dickel, no looker. Nicely done. Simmons. Kevin's been a good finisher tonight. That's 16 for the junior out of Brooklyn. Austin, way short. Tremaine Fulks. Wow, what kind of shot was that? Then of Andre Jones the miss. How tall is that basket down there? They should have been able to finish one of those.
And right now, the loose balls, the hustle type players are in favor of Fresno. It's their quickness right now reacting on the floor that's starting to show up. You're right, they needed something to drop that possession.
Tyrone Nesby's breather didn't last long. Tremaine Fulks goes to the bench. Running down to the 4:40 mark in a tie game. New Mexico awaiting the winner in tomorrow night's WAC championship at 10 o'clock Eastern.
UNLV trying to shorten the length of the game now just a little bit. You see a little bit more patience out of these guys than we did the first 20 minutes.
Dickel for 3. That's only his second of the night. But remember his last one. It tied the game at 44. This one gives them a 3-point lead, 65-62. Winfred Walton way short. Can't save it.
That's good offense last time down. You see the guy waiting for the matchup, Dave Bliss. Really good offense.
Isn't this fun, though?
UNLV.
Isn't this fun when the whole league's in one building? You don't have to go anywhere to do your scouting.
No, this is it.
He thought about the 3.
They need to be patient right now. They need to work that shot clock down and get a high percentage look, at least get to the free throw stripe.
Simmons passing up the move. Nesby drawing the foul before the shot. Well, it looks like the Rebels have a little new life injected into them because of that Mark Dickel 3-point foul. Winfred Walton on the foul. That'll be his 3rd. Jerry Tarkanian, hardly ever lost on this floor. In case you missed it earlier, a winning percentage of .936 as the Rebels coach. He won 131 out of 140 games. Tyrone Nesby. That's only his 4th point this half. He does have 15. Yeah, they won it all in 1990. Back-to-back Final Fours back then. Tark coached here for 19 years. Tyrone had some body English going for that one to go in. Well, the Rebels have some new life. They lead by 5 in the final 4 minutes.
ESPN's presentation of Championship Week is presented by 7-Up. 7-Up and your local 7-Up bottler invite you to try the crisp new taste of 7-Up. And in part by DiGiorno Rising Crust Pizza. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
The lights of Las Vegas on a Friday night. It'll be a while before anybody goes to sleep in this town. Tonight, Bob Carpenter, Jimmy Dykes at the Thomas and Mack Center. Kind of looks like the good old days of UNLV basketball are back. Billy Bano engineering a return to prominence, but some serious work left to be done here in the final 340 or so. And the man who put him on the map on the other bench.
And now tired legs isn't a factor with 3:30 to go because you're playing with your heart. Very important for UNLV to stay active on the board. That's where Fresno State can do damage. Remaining time.
Alston for three. Short.
There you go.
Great box out by Kevin Simmons. He was moving Andre Jones away as he pulled down the rebound.
Yeah, as soon as that shot was cranked up, you saw that big guy get position and start backing out. You limit Fresno to one shot the rest of the time, and you're going to win this ball game if you're UNLV.
Simmons from Dickel. Into Andre Jones, forcing the contact. That play you just saw there reminds me of what Kenny Thomas did to TCU about 15 times in the second half earlier tonight.
But just look at the boom, the little quick move right there by Simmons, and gets the defender off balance just enough that he can take it up and draw contact. And you're right. That guy right there put on a low post scoring clinic about the last 12 minutes of their matchup earlier tonight.
Yeah, he darn near fouled Lee Nayland and Dennis Davis out of the game. They both ended up with 4. 17 for Kevin Simmons. Rebels by 6. Dogs have to hustle to pick up the loose one. Tarkanian wants a 20. You can see him up at the top of your screen. It'll come to 2:46 remaining. Well, a reminder, when Sunday rolls around, you can see where your favorite team is going. We've got our experts queued up. It's presented by GTE, 6:30 Eastern. Chris Fowler, Digger will be there, so will Dick Vitale. And get your brackets in order with some of their input. And then at 7:30, you'll see the women's brackets actually debut on our show, presented by State Farm. Mimi Griffin and Rebecca Lobo, 2 outstanding players in their own right, joining Robin Roberts.
Well, Bob, again, you got 3 teams for sure out of the WAC that are in. Utah, I think, is still a solid number 2 seed. And New Mexico now starts to climb their way back up the chart. 2 wins here this week.
Roberson, well off with the 3. Got his own underneath, rolls it in, and that's 21 for Terrence. Back to a 4-point game. We're under 2.5 minutes to go.
The last thing you tell your club in the huddle the last 3 or 4 minutes of the ball game is the importance of rebounding the basketball. That time Roberson got the advantage on him.
Dickel, a stop, restarted, drew the foul. That was pretty good hesitation. That's an experienced point guard. He's only a sophomore, but Mark Dickel has a lot of international experience. He's been on the New Zealand under-22 national team. WAC Freshman of the Year last year.
Well, he's got a game that's just not really easy to defend. He's kind of awkward, that basketball. He's got some speed and quickness, and he gets the defender off balance. And again, UNLV doing a pretty good job from the free throw strike tonight, staying even with Fresno, who gets there a lot themselves.
Jaspers Kambala's had some good minutes tonight. 8 points. Rebound total right about the same. Dickel trains them both. Well, you've got to have that late. UNLV by 6. This possession will take us down inside 2 minutes, and the Rebel fans are on their feet. Heron can't sit him down. Rebound Simmons. Dickel fouled at midcourt by Terrence Roberson. Minute 45 to go. That can be an eternity in a tournament game. These teams split home and home last year because of the WAC's setup with UNLV in the Mountain and Fresno in the Pacific. They haven't played yet this year. Dickel at the line again.
It was interesting. Bill Bano said the first practice we had when we knew that Keon Clark was not going to be with us the rest of the season, I sensed that this team had something special still left in it. And that's a sign of a coach that's got a real pulse for his squad. They can finish things off right now in the last minute 40. Something special is fixing to happen for them.
3-possession game right now. Heron short on the 3 again. Nesby's got it. The Dogs just can't make a shot. Keith through traffic. And a foul midcourt on Tremaine Folks. That'll be his 4th. The UNLV guards don't shoot free throws that greatly. Keith at 63%, Dickel at 66. But free throws may be what puts this one away.
Well, what a job by UNLV just the last 2 minutes, Bob, of cleaning up the defensive boards, because Fresno, they've had some opportunities, but they've just had one each trip down.
Ryan Keefe still has not scored in the second half. Timeout. Running Rebels and Billy Bano. He's out of 20, so it's a full. A minute 22 remaining. They are going crazy in Las Vegas. A date with New Mexico, not that far away. The RPI says UNLV is number 59 in the nation. The RPI may need a little updating tonight. The Rebels are on a roll, and they're about to win their 5th. And, Jimmy, this would be 9 of their last 11.
Well, and they're 19th overall. And you look at those W's, that's the most important thing the last 3 weeks of the season. It doesn't matter how you're doing it. It's the fact that you're getting it done. And he made an interesting comment to me today. It's a one-word answer. I said, Billy, what do you do to continue to make sure that you establish yourself as a head coach here and get yourself out of the shadows that still lurk because of Jerry Tarkanian? He said very simply, win.
And like any situation like this, Jimmy Dykes, there are some who don't want to see Bill Bano succeed. There will always be Tark supporters who will not support the ensuing coaches, and that happens in different places. But Billy Bano has really shut a lot of them down with what this program is accomplishing. Now that's a huge 3 for Fresno. Gets them back to within 5 as we go into the final minute. Oh, there's a fan away. That was Tremaine Folks with the steal. Roberson for 3. Never got iron. And the Fresno bench can't believe the call. We might get an overrule here. Well, I thought Bob Steffen might come up and overrule that call. It happened right in front of the Fresno bench. And I think the Rebels got a huge break right there. Folks a foul. That'll finish him.
We'll see if Heron's the last guy to touch it. Oh, boy, I think you're right.
Yeah, that was last touch.
Look at Heron. He's calling it right there on the floor.
Should have been Fresno's ball. And then on the ensuing play, Tremaine Folks fouls out. Tremaine Folks, by the way, 1 out of 9 shooting tonight. Kevin Simmons, 74% free throw shooter. Their forwards shoot better than the guards. for Kevin. His first double-figure game of the tournament. That's a beautiful stroke. Back up by 7. And Tark will use his final 20.
Well, here's what we're seeing happen in this tournament right now, Bob, is UNLV again over the last 8 or 9 ball games. Finally, they've got the rotation in place. They know what they've got to play with the remainder of the season. They have some big wins coming into the tournament. You see the reset right there, the timeout situation. And then you have to factor in UNLV playing on their home floor. Now, that's a big, big thing. I mean, you see the guys up in the stands, and the town is really full of energy surrounding this club right now. And those 3 factors are going to propel UNLV into that championship game tomorrow night.
SportsCenter coming up next. Historic weekend in the Big Ten as a postseason battle of the Hoosier State took place. How about Michigan State? A nightmare. NBA, golf, it's all coming up for you on SportsCenter. Alston. I thought he was going to take the 3. He went slashing. There was nobody there with him. Final 25 seconds. Chris Herron the foul. And it's looking like Vegas. And the guys from Albuquerque in tomorrow night's championship game. Dave Bliss's team, in all honesty, should have been knocked out of the tournament yesterday. Tulsa had him in the final minute and couldn't finish him off. And I thought TCU had him for a while tonight, up by double figures. And then the Lobos came up big late.
Because they were really on a downward spiral heading into this tournament.
I tell you what, Jimmy, it's going to be a heck of a crowd tomorrow night because New Mexico has thousands of fans here.
Folks from Albuquerque are active in this city right now.
I went to their women's game today, and they were going crazy. They'll play Rice in the championship game of that tomorrow.
Look at UNLV. Now, that number has escalated over the last 3 or 4 minutes with Fresno forced a foul, but they scored their last 9 points. UNLV from the free throw strike.
Simmons the rebound.
Well, Jerry Tarkanian, he's seen this type of situation, but he's usually on the other bench. Now he realizes, aha, I see what all those coaches over the years felt like in this building when I was putting it on them.
Evan Simmons with a 20-point night. Well, Jimmy, we mentioned this earlier. When Fresno scores 80, they're 17-1. They're nowhere near 80 right now.
It's a combination of man defense and that matchup zone for UNLV that was, again, it was effective tonight.
You're speaking in the past tense. I think you're assuming this one's over, and I think you're right. Watch Las Vegas celebrate.
Yeah, and what a town to celebrate in. They will have fun in Las Vegas tonight. And that's nothing out of the ordinary. Well, Bobby, they're one step closer now to getting that NCAA tournament. It may have been enough tonight. They're at 19 wins, and they're playing very good basketball over the last 10.
These kids need to get off the floor and go to bed.
Exactly.
They've got some business tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Eastern. There you have it. The Lobos of New Mexico, the Runnin' Rebels of UNLV. We can't wait. We hope you're with us. It'll be a heck of a night on the Strip of Las Vegas. Casper's Kambala, surrounded by a lot of littler people. The final score, UNLV 76, Fresno 67. SportsCenter is next. For Jimmy Dykes and our entire ESPN Championship Week crew, I'm Bob Carpenter. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Viva Las Vegas. SportsCenter is next.
Fresno State, UNLV. Tark's current team against Tark's former team. Think there wasn't some build-up to this one? Well, think again. Even Tark's son, Danny, a current Fresno assistant, got into the act, telling the Basketball Times, "I hope we play UNLV in the WAC tournament so we can kick their behind." Actually, behind wasn't exactly the word he used, but this is a family program. WAC semifinal action Friday at the house that Tark built. Second half, UNLV in front by 4. Brian Keefe, Kevin Simmons. It actually happened much faster than that. 2 of his game-high 21. UNLV in front by 6. Fresno State fighting back with some D. Avondre Jones with the block. Starts the break. Winfred Walton finishes the break. We're even at 54. Now tied at 62. Simmons kicking it out to Mark Dickel. He hits the 3. UNLV in front by 3. And Tark distressed as UNLV wins at 76-67. The Rebs have won 9 of 11. They're just 1 win away from clinching their first NCAA bid since 1991, when Tark had the running Rebels in the Final Four. Simmons, 21 points, 9 boards. Billy Baino's squad improves to 19-12. Here he is now with our Jimmy Dykes.
Billy, your biggest win as a head coach here. Your thoughts right now?
Just really happy and proud for the kids. People had counted us out, and these guys just showed so much resiliency, so much toughness. We've really come together. We can play with anyone in the country. We got 1 more to go, but this was another big game because of everything we've gone through, trying to build this program back to where it belongs, and we're on our way.
You're on a roll right now. Your thoughts tomorrow night against a tough New Mexico club?
You know, we're going to have to go back and try to put together a game plan. We just got to come out and play hard. Hopefully we'll make shots. Hopefully they won't. But if we come out and we play hard and we play together, we'll have a chance.
Are you in the NCAA tournament now?
I hope so. Digger Dick, we belong in there. We've overcome a lot. We belong as an at-large team. But we're going to go try and take it out of the committee's hands tomorrow night.
They're singing Viva Las Vegas. Congratulations. Back to the studio, guys.